Hello there, welcome. Hope you're having a great day today. Today we are talking about Joshua. I'm still in Joshua. We're talking about Judges chapter 2. And in today's chapter, it discusses how after Joshua's death and that generation around him died, the next generation did not acknowledge the Lord or remember the mighty things he had done for Israel. As a matter of fact, in verse 11, it says, "The Israelites did evil in the Lord's sight and served the images of Baal. They abandoned the Lord, the God of their ancestors, who had brought them out of Egypt. They went after other gods, worshiping the gods of the people around them, and they angered the Lord." So we again continue to see the Israelites rebel. Now, my footnote that I want to share with you today comes from verses 1 through 3 in this chapter, and it says, "This event marked a significant change in Israel's relationship with God. At Mount Sinai, God had made a sacred and binding agreement with the Israelites called a covenant. God's part was to make Israel a special nation, to protect them, and to give them unique blessings for following him. Israel's part was to love God and obey his laws, but because they rejected and disobeyed God, the agreement to protect them was no longer in effect. But God wasn't going to abandon his people. They would receive wonderful blessings if they asked God to forgive them and sincerely followed him again. Although God's agreement to help Israel conquer the land was no longer in effect, his promise to make Israel a nation through whom the whole world would be blessed, and that was talking about the coming of the Messiah, Jesus, remained valid. God still wanted the Israelites to be a holy people, just as he wants us to be holy. And he often used oppression to bring them back to him, just as he warned he would. The book of Judges records a number of instances where God allowed his people to be oppressed so they would repent of their sins and return to him. So we are going to be seeing several other scenarios throughout this book of times where God does allow oppression to take place so that the Israelites do in fact turn back to him. If you haven't already had a chance to read that chapter today, please do so. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great rest of your day. I'll see you next time.